Welcome to She Needs Grit. I'm your host, Samantha Varner, profit coach and founder of She Collective. I now run a successful coaching practice, and I'm here to share all that I've learned through my 14 plus years of experience in financial services, public relations, and profit coaching, so you can apply it to building or renovating your business. Profitable businesses are created with just 4 ingredients: grit, confidence, strategy, and simplicity. This podcast is a combination of conversations with gritty entrepreneurial women and no fluff ways to create profit in your business starting today. If you're ready, grab your caffeine and let's get started. Hi guys, good afternoon. I am Sam Varner, your host of She Needs Grit, and today we are going to talk about sales and service. And this may end up just a little bit ranty because I get so frustrated when people exist out in the world and I encounter them at networking groups and with some of my clients sometimes at the beginning, and just in general, people building businesses. This thing is that somehow there is an inability to serve people and make money, or that somehow the concept of making money is wrong. I want that to sink in for a second, you guys. Like, what? I hope if you're listening to this podcast and you are striving in your life to make more money in your business, that you believe deeply that by serving people, you can and should and will make money, and that that's the goal. But if you're somebody who sits and feels a little bit like there is something wrong in me asking for money or expecting to get paid a reasonable sum for my product or my services, or that me having a passion project should just mean that I put it out into the world for nothing because that serves people, I want you to really reconsider today. I want you to think about how much of a disservice you're doing by not sharing your gift, your product, your services, the results you can get people with your work because you're not getting paid. Making money in business is the only way it is considered a business. Otherwise, what you are doing is an expensive hobby and being really nice to your friends and sharing your knowledge. And we all do this to some extent. I do this. Everybody does this. So there are people in my life that know that they can come to me and I will give advice. And to be honest, at the end of every one of these podcasts, I always say, and truly deeply mean, that if you have questions or you're struggling with the topic that we talked about that week, I welcome you to email me or to DM me on Instagram. And I mean that truly. Now, what it doesn't mean is I'm not saying to you, come and let's have a conversation every week over email and I will coach you through this and build your business with you for free. That's not a thing. I'm not in the business of doing that. But what I do know is that if I can tweak just a tiny little thing in the operation of what you're doing currently and have it impact your bottom line, your confidence, the simplicity of your business, right? All of those things give you a little strategy. It's going to make a massive difference. Now, does that mean that you're going to become my coaching client? It does not. And I certainly have no expectations that it would. But I do know that the more times that I give out in the world, share value through the podcast, through my Instagram, through my ability to connect with you in a way that I really enjoy on a one-to-one basis, I know that value comes back. What you give out comes back, and I believe that. But I don't believe that we need to give and give and give and give for nothing with the expectation that somehow it is dirty to sell or to ask for money or to expect remuneration for the skills and the talents that we possess. I don't want you to question this anymore. And I want you to be aware that if you're going to get pushback from people when you say to them, hey, I love that you are so excited about my business. The best way as my good friend that you can support me is obviously you can participate as a client of mine, right? So you can buy my product or my service. That's always exciting. But even more so for those people that are close to you that you feel like, I don't want to ask. It's not appropriate to ask them. They don't need my services, but they are asking, how do I support you? The best way to do that for people is to talk about them to other people. Go out in the world and be an ambassador for their business. That is okay. And building goodwill and adding value in the world does pull people to you. But what doesn't happen is you do not end up with a profitable business if you are unwilling to charge money for your services and to charge an appropriate amount of money for your services. I see this a lot of times in businesses where you are making something and it takes time. And when we add up or look at what it costs you to produce said product, okay, I have a friend who is a knitter. She knits all sorts of things. She's done stuffed animals and blankets and beautiful clothes, all sorts of things. But if you look at what the actual cost of the product going into it, so the wool, the needles, her time, and her time is really critical, you guys. That is the big piece in that kind of a business. All of those pieces means that she is not selling her product for the same prices as Walmart is. And no one should be out there expecting that she is able to create one-of-a-kind pieces at the same price as Walmart or Target. And it is okay to go out there in the world and say, this is the value I bring. This is the cost of that value. There are always people out there willing to spend the true value of something because they associate the value with it as well. And the only way that they can do that is if you talk about it. If you talk about what is this investment? How does that change? What does that impact on my bottom line? If you're talking to a business to business kind of situation, if you're talking to something like a homemade business, if you're talking about you're a baker who does cakes or cookies, all of those things, people forget, yeah, I can go and get a bag of cookies at the store for $5. You totally can. But I promise you, the quality of ingredients are not the same. The care is not the same. The individual, your child's name on the cookie and their favorite little character from the show they watch is not the same. The fact that I did each one of those piped by hand and did it for a date that you needed with a fresh, organic ingredients, you are going to pay for that. And what I want everybody listening on this podcast to realize is that there are two things that I want you to walk away with. The first is start supporting the people in your lives. You do not have to buy their service or their product to support them. But what you do have to do is if you want to support them, tell people about them, share the value that they bring, share what they've done for you. That goes such a long way. And the more you do that, I promise the other people in your lives that own businesses are going to start noticing that you talk them up and they will do the same for you. So that's the first part. The second part is really, really eliminating this concept that asking for what you're worth is somehow bad. It is not bad. It is business. Do you think that Nike feels bad about charging you $97 for a pair of shoes? They do not. They do not feel bad about that. They do not feel bad about that, even if it only costs them $23 to make those shoes. So then, as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, why would you feel bad about selling your product or your service at a price that allows you to do that with more clients, that allows you to help people? Most of my clients come to me and say, the reason I started this business is because I wanted to help people. You don't help people if you don't tell them what you do. You don't help people if you're not selling your product or your service to them, because they don't get your help then. People expect to pay for help. And I say help broadly. People expect to pay for services that they need, for solutions to the problems that they have, for the things that they are challenged by that they haven't been able to figure out or don't want to figure out on their own. People are willing to spend money on things. And you making a judgment call that they don't want to, or it's too expensive, or no one would ever pay for my time, all that does is really devalue you. You have an obligation to go out in the world and to share the value that you have. You have an obligation to share that with people so that they can grow and develop and get results. You have also got an obligation to yourself, to your family, to create an income from the thing that devotes all of your time or a good portion of it. So if you're hesitant to sell, I want you to think about the fact that you can give it to them for cheaper, but it means there's less money in your household bank account to pay for food or housing or that family vacation you've been eyeing or generational wealth. And all of those things are worthy endeavors for you to drive forward in your life through building your business. My assumption is if you're here listening to this podcast, you did not intend to just start a very expensive hobby. And accidentally, inadvertently, there are so many entrepreneurs that fall into that category of accidental expensive hobby that they don't or won't or are uncomfortable in selling their product or service. So they don't make sales. They don't hit those goals. And then they feel crappy about it. But they tell themselves that they're doing it out of service. And I think it's actually just a disservice. So if that resonates today, if you feel like you may be one of those people that deep down you have an issue around or a block around selling, around asking for money, around feeling valued or feeling comfortable in asking for your value, that's most likely a money mindset issue. And that's something I work on with clients. So if you want help with your money mindset, reach out to me. I am happy to help you. But know this, your value is there. Absolutely, right now, today. Your potential clients are out in the world trying to figure out how to solve the problem you already know how to solve. They just need to be able to find you, and you need to be able to sell them the solution. So please don't hesitate. Sell them the solution. You've got it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening today, and I will talk to you again next week. If today's topic is one you know you struggle with, I invite you to book a free profit call with me and share your struggles, your goals, and together we can decide how coaching with me could be the way to shift you into a profit maker. The best way to book this call is either go to Instagram at Samantha N. Varner, that's SamanthaNvarner, or go to https://bit.ly/free profit call and book your call today, and let's get you moving towards being a profit maker in your business. Thanks again for joining me, Samantha Varner, in this episode of She Needs Grit. Let's talk shop again soon. If you like this episode, hit follow, share with a friend, and leave me a 5-star review in your podcast app. Every review means other gritty women just like you find the show and grow their profitable business today. I invite you to connect with me on Instagram at Samantha N. Varner, or just pop over to my site at shecollective.biz, and that's .biz with a Z or a Z if you happen to be in Canada. I'll be back next week with more so you can create confidence, clients, and cash in your business with simple strategy and none of the drama.